will have met the FEI's minimum capability, which are called certificates of capability. So the very first part is they have to be qualified to compete at the games. They have to compete with a qualifying score at a CCI 4-star or a CCI 3-star coupled with a CIC 3-star as a horse rider combination.
Okay.
They're allowed to get it up until June 18th. From January 1st of 2011 until June 17th of 2012.
Okay. And then those people, what's the process after that?
Then, if you'd like to be considered for the U.S. Olympic team, you submit an application. Applications are due on March 1st, and then we have a pool of athletes that we can focus on.
So no one has declared?
No, by applying, that will be their intent to compete. So it's a little bit different than the Canadian system, but we don't go through a declaration. We just have an internal process of applying. From there, there are 4 selection trials this spring: Rolex, badminton, Jersey Fresh, and Samir. There were also 11 selection trials last year, which will also be considered. And in order one of the other sort of boxes you have to check is you have to have completed one of our selection trials, which is basically all of the CCI 3-stars and 4-stars in North America and Bromo and in Western Europe. A pass is not a word that we use like we did when we don't use the word gets a buy. Neville has his own program for the spring, and he'll have to show continued preparation just like everybody else.
Okay, so he doesn't get...
Nobody...
You don't reserve a spot.
Correct. It is a clean slate, and everybody has an equal shot. It's a pretty extensive veterinary process. All the horses have to be... The riders are told at the jog, if the horse passes the jog, that if their show jumping day goes well, that the selectors would like to have a look at their horses. And they're to give their horses no medication that night, because we want to see a horse at its worst to know what we're dealing with. And then on Monday the Monday after Rolex, we'll start with a vet panel, and our selectors come and watch the horses trot up. After Bromont and Lemulin, we will name a nominated entry of 15 horse rider combinations, and then from that 15 there will be a list of 10, which we call the short list, which will be the 10 that fly to England. Then those 10 compete at Barbary Castle at the end of June, and we'll do final vet evaluations on July 2nd, and we'll name the team on July 2nd.
And how do you select the team? Do you have some criteria that's objective on a sheet of paper?
Yeah, I would direct people to our as cumbersome as the document is. I would direct people to our selection procedure, but there's language in there that says the ability to demonstrate competitive scores, riding without time faults, riding without jumping penalties, continued fitness and form, and et cetera, et cetera. We have 5 selectors and 1 European observer. Mike Huber's the chairman, and you have B. DeGrazia on the West Coast. You have Julie Richards and Carrie Milliken and Mark Weisbecker, and Ann Taylor is she's based in England, so she's our eyes in England. Our selectors, as well as committee members within USEF, have to sign a conflict of interest agreement, and they basically are declaring any potential conflicts. And then what will happen is the committee will get together and say, if they come onto a subject that there is a potential conflict, they'll decide if it's a disqualifying conflict or not, and then they move on from there.
Some people have an impression sometimes that some riders are not considered, or what's
the selectors are very good about referring to their list of applicants and looking at each and every one of them. And when we discuss them, we go through each and every one. Yeah, for instance, the vet evaluations is confidential information, and that factors into their decisions.
Mm-hmm. And how do you select those?
it goes back to the same criteria: continued preparation, current form, soundness, fitness, ability to help the team win a medal, and that's, you can't compare apples to apples because everything folds in together.
And
I don't know if we've seen all the horses that have potential.
so you're still.
It's a fair shot. Come March 1st, then we'll see who we've got.